Okay, welcome to Fahrenheit Performance Podcast, episode number 30. Today we have Luke Chua. He is a very fast, short to middle distance triathlete. Team Singapore Triathlon, SEA Games 2019, 2021, 2023, right? So you got a medal in one of those. Mm-hmm. Currently studying in Brisbane, training it up with all the speedsters in Australia. Luke, why don't you introduce yourself?
Yeah, so I'm currently based in Australia. I'm Singaporean.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm training with a group in Australia, and I'm studying at QUT, Queensland University of Technology, and I'm doing marketing there.
Okay, and you're almost done, right?
Yeah, I've got this one last semester.
So after you finish, you're coming back to Singapore, you think? Or are you going to stay there for a little bit longer and look for a job?
Yeah, my visa ends in March. So I'm going to come back, and then I'm going to see how things go. I'm planning to go full-time in triathlon.
Okay.
That's the goal, I think.
Yep.
That has been my goal ever since I was a kid, to do professional sports. And
yep.
I feel like my dream's coming true. It hasn't come true yet, but it's getting there.
Oh, cool. So how long have you been doing triathlon for? You're not that old. You're like 22, 23 now, right? So how long when was your first race? Or how did you get into the sport?
Backtrack. I think I started when I was 16, I would say. When I was 16.
Okay.
So that's about 6 years ago.
Were you're already a swimmer, right? Back then, were you?
Yeah. So I started off as a swimmer. Started swimming when I was 10, and then I moved and then I studied sports school for my secondary school. Mm-hmm. And then it was in secondary school which I slowly made a transition. So like at 15, I was kind of like dabbling into like a bit of running.
Yeah.
I was doing a bit of aquathlon, and then when I was 16, then I started moving in triathlon because I was like, since I was doing
biking already,
you might as well just do it. Like, yeah.
And so sports school, right? Famously, Nicholas Rachmani is also sports school, right? You know him? Did you in same class as him?
He was my batch. He was
because he was he a runner or was he a swimmer as well?
Just swimmer as well.
Okay, so you guys did some similar path then.
Yeah, I know. I think we're like childhood friends. Like I've known him since I was 7, 8. I think like we went to the same church, we did the same, like we were both swimming competitively, went to the same swim club.
We're the same age, you're going to be in the same, like you're going to come against each other at the same time, in the same school as well, every single day of training.
He was literally my brother from another mother. Like he was even born the day before me. So like we are like I
yeah, that is pretty close.
Yeah, like this. Yeah, so he was a better swimmer though. Like he was a backstroker. He was very good at backstroke.
Mm-hmm.
He was very smart. Well, he still is very smart.
Yeah. He's a doctor. He's studying to be a doctor right now, right?
Yeah.
So, so 16. How did the first triathlon go? What was it? Was it meta sprint like everyone seems to, or trifecta, or?
Yeah, I think I did my first one as a meta sprint. It was a youth distance, I believe, because at that point...
Yeah, they don't let you do the full sprint distance, right?
Don't. So I did a youth distance and then slowly built up to my first sprint distance. And then the sprint distance I made, at a point in time, there's like a 1 hour, 10-minute cut that you have to make to be able to join the World Triathlon races.
Okay.
So I managed to make that my first time. So
nice. So did you win the race? Or did you...
I don't think I won the race. I don't think so. Yeah. I think if I won the race, I would have remembered that. So no.
Okay.
So I kind of did that, and then my first World Triathlon race was a Junior Asian Cup in Subic Bay, Philippines.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and I remember I got smashed in that race. Like I was just like...
Welcome to the big leagues.
Yeah, I was like, damn, like World Triathlon racing is a different thing.
Yep.
I did... That first year, I did a lot of World Triathlon races. I got my ass handed to me. But it was a good experience. Like, I think that was what I needed.
Mm-hmm.
And then I kind of already knew that triathlon was the way I wanted to go.
Yep.
So 16, after I finished my O-levels, I told my parents, like, I'm going to do this for a long time. Like, I'm going to do this for a long time. So we decided to find a coach in Australia. So actually, after O-levels, I took a plane, I flew to Australia.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So young. It's like 16, 17 years old.
Yeah, I kind of knew that I was going to do this. Like, I'm going to give it everything. So
was that coach in Brisbane as well?
Yeah.
Is that why you chose to go to school, to university in Brisbane?
Yeah, exactly. So like, because everything for me like revolved around triathlon. Like, I'm studying in Brisbane because my coach is in Brisbane.
Yeah.
And that coach I have now met, Billy, like, he's the same coach I was with since I moved there. So I've been with him for like pretty much my entire triathlon career.
So you finished what O-levels? So I'm not very familiar with this because I'm an Australian, right? So you finished O-levels. Then what? You do poly or did you do NS? Or?
I went to poly,
Okay.
yeah. So finished O-levels, went straight to Australia, went to Brisbane, went to try out different coaches, and then
Yep.
found my coach, and then
Yep.
I stumped him, and then I came,
So he programmed your stuff remotely while you came back.
yeah, to Training Peaks, yeah. So it's
Okay.
online. So
Yep.
I was there for 6 months after O-levels to start off poly because it's about 6 months.
Yeah.
So, and I came back I came back and then we were just doing it remotely, and then I would go back there every 3-4 months a year to see him.
Every break you had.
Yeah, every break I had, and he would fly to some of my races as well.
Uh-huh.
And like, yeah, I just stuck with him. Like I knew, he kind of worked for me from the get-go, and I was always improving. Like because I've got my Training Peaks since I was 16, right? Like,
Yeah.
if you see my Training Peaks, like you can see a very good progression. Like I've just consistently improved.
Are you one of those people in Training Peaks that will write notes after every workout so you can go back and read your diary and understand why the bad workouts are bad and the good workouts are good?
No, I wouldn't say I'm like the most I'll go is like times.
Okay.
Like I've tried to write stuff in Training Peaks, but like, I just
Like felt good this morning, but I couldn't, or felt bad, couldn't finish the workout. Think it was a curry I had, or what? Some people do that.
yeah, I know people do that. Like I know people write essays on
Yeah.
Training Peaks, but I don't. Like for me now, like recently at least, like I see my coach almost every session, so it's always instantaneous.
Because now you're in Australia working with the coach in the same place, right?
So like you on the pool deck, or like straight away you can talk to your coach on how you feel and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like it's very good. Like that's probably what I needed more than the training diary thing. But I think that kind of helps though to like if you write things down, you actually can look back and see what you actually.
And yeah, you forget things when you don't write it down. And
Yeah.
you like even if you write random things down and you look at it again, then it will spark whatever memory in your brain that was dormant for.
Yeah, but no, sadly I don't do that. Maybe I should try again. But I've always failed whenever I've tried.
So you've been to 3 SEA Games now, right?
Yeah.
All in triathlon. Were they all triathlon or were they?
My old triathlon, and I did a aquathlon for the recent one. Yeah.
Okay. What are the big takeaways from the different SEA Games? The first one was 2019, right? Before COVID. Was it completely blown away, or is it you've been competitive all the way? Like what? How do SEA Games compare to, let's just say, the World Cup, the Asia Cups?
Yeah, I think for SEA Games, it's just because it's just Southeast Asia, so there's not many people, and each country is only allowed to send 2 people.
Okay.
So then, because the whole Southeast Asia is quite small, you get about 20 people.
Oh,
And
okay.
so every lead you have on the swim is kind of magnified, because the gap from the front to the second group and to the third group, it's way bigger because there's not many people
Walking
around.
together,
And
yeah.
like in World Triathlon, you kind of have like 70 or 60 men where everyone's just bunched up together. So like the gap in between is much smaller.
And then WTOs, is that so Asia Cup, would that include Japan, Korea, China?
Yeah, they don't have anyone around the world. So like the Euros
Oh,
will come over.
okay. So Asia Cup doesn't mean Asians only. It means it's in Asia. The cup is
It
in
just means it's in Asia, yeah. But people come in from like all over. You get
because if it's in Philippines, you can just come up from Australia pretty easily, right?
yeah. Oh, there's many Australians that come up to Asia to race. Like to them, it's an easier race coming up to Asia than staying in Australia. But
Probably.
yeah, but I think for SEA Games, my first one was when I was 18. So I think being 18 and 2-3 years into triathlon, I kind of didn't expect myself to even go for that SEA Games. I won the SEA Games trials, and I was pretty shocked. Like I didn't like at that point in time, there was still the other older guys like Clement and Willie.
Willie.
And Arif was always there. Like Ben Koo, those older guys, they were always there. So I didn't think I would do it, but well, I apparently did. So
Surprise yourself.
Yeah,
you on the trials.
yeah, and then so I got selected to the relay with me, Bryce, Emma, and Helene, and then we were trying to go for the gold, but then the Philippines was strong. I mean, they still are strong. Like Philippines has always been quite strong. We came in second with a very good lead from third. So
Oh, nice. Okay.
yeah, so and then I think progressively to 21, which was the COVID year, Oh, it's actually held in 22.
22.
Yeah, but it was the 21 games. I think that one was a very different experience. It's really extreme, man, because when I was 18, I was still in poly. I could still prepare for that.
Yeah.
Whereas in 21, it was actually during my OCS. I was actually going through OCS when I went for that SEA Games.
Oh, wow.
So I barely even trained for it. Like, it was a standard as well. So it was my first standard ever.
Oh, God. Okay.
Yeah, my first standard ever. And it was just,
So no medal for you on that one?
Yeah, no. I came in 7th that one. That was far back. Like, I came out of the leaders. I was in the front group, and I got dropped on the bike. Like, I think I just wasn't.
You didn't have enough. You didn't have enough in your legs.
Yeah, I didn't have enough.
And then, and then the most recent one, you were like one step from the podium, right? You were.
Yeah, so I came in 4th, both in a aquathlon and the triathlon.
Oh, you did too.
Yeah, I did too. So I 4th in the aquathlon was behind Bryce.
Yep.
And then 4th in the triathlon, which was behind one of my Filipino mates. So
okay.
For the aquathlon, so the aquathlon happened first, and then it was 2 days, and then the triathlon.
So aquathlon is like swim and then run.
Yeah, swim and then run. Yeah, so it was a short. I think it was a 400 swim and a 2.5K run.
So
it's
full
very
gas.
short. Yeah,
Zone 6 the whole time.
Yeah, it's probably full gas the whole way. So
yeah,
I wanted to get a medal for sure, but then I was also in NS at a point in time, and for the aquathlon, Bryce came in 3rd. So I'm like, to me,
if you'd come in 3rd, he wouldn't have come in 3rd, right?
Yeah. So I wasn't too angry with that. Like, I was happy for him. Like, I was more than happy for him to take 3rd.
Yeah.
But I was more upset for the triathlon, because for the triathlon, I think I set myself up in a pretty good position. We were 22nd from. We had a small gap from the next group.
Yep.
I actually had a good transition. I was leading the race actually for the first 1K.
Yeah. Out of 10. 1 out of 10 or 1 out of 5?
Yeah. And then people slowly started passing me. And then I was actually holding out the bronze until the last half of the race. So then, so it was painful, but I think it gave me a lot of confidence knowing that I didn't train much and I was really full.
Yeah.
Like,
does that give you extra burn to go to the next one? Next one is coming up next year, right?
End up next year. Yeah.
And then I guess they haven't chosen the team yet. We can talk about that later. But coming in 4th, I guess, gives you the extra motivation to
for sure. Like,
to push even.
It's like, 4th is not here and it's not there. It's just not anywhere. Yeah. It's like that painful part, Yeah. And it's like, I think I've just got a lot more confidence now with how much progress I've made with training on Australia, and then, like, knowing that I'm very confident I'm gonna get a medal. Just what color?
Yep. That's awesome.
I think. Well, I'm definitely gonna try to win like this.
Yep.
There's no point aiming for silver, bronze when I can win it. So I know I have the capability to win it. So I'm gonna try and win it. Yeah.
And then I guess it's hard to compare the finishing times of the last SEA Games compared to what you can do, because conditions change.
Yeah.
Hot, cold, whatever. Really.
Triathlons are very dependent on the weather, the course, and people racing as well.
Yeah, and if you can sit on something, like if it's draft legal, if it's a big group, small group, it makes a big difference.
It makes all the difference. Yeah.
So you kind of touched on it briefly, right? So you're training in Australia from Singapore. So you're from hot weather, training in not so hot weather. But then at the same time, the competition is very much stronger over there, right?
Yeah.
What are the biggest difference between what you're doing over there than what you would be doing over here?
In-person coaching. Like, coaching, my coach can see me, like, when I wake up. Because when I wake up, I go to training.
Yep.
My coach can look at me and say, yeah, this guy looks pretty tired today. Like, he's not going to make it, so go home. Or like...
Oh, okay, yeah.
In Singapore, like,
it's all training peaks. You can't,
Yeah, he's on training peaks. He can't really see where I'm tired or not. Or like, he can't do fatigue management, load management. Like, it's all very different. In training in Australia, like, I get to train with a lot of the better guys.
Yep.
Like, the boys in my squad are very good. Like, I would probably say all of them. If you put them in Southeast Asia, they probably would be the best.
Yeah. So they'll dominate the local racing if they were living in Singapore.
Oh yeah, for sure. So, I train with Luke Chua, who is he's leading the World Triathlon series now.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So he's very good.
So he's Aussie or New Zealander?
He's Aussie. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is he going to Olympics? That's
he's going to this
10 days. So in 10 days.
Yeah. So I think getting to train this kind of people, you see what they do and you kind of learn from them.
So let's use him as an example, right? He's an Olympian. When you're training, are you training at the same speed, distance, and intensity? Is it he just performs better during the races, or is it obvious that he's a step above everybody else during training?
That's a very good question. I think everyone will be shocked to hear it, but we do a lot of aerobic training, a lot of easy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So we are always running about the same pace. Like sometimes he might even run slower than me.
Yeah, it's
like
kind of funny, right?
Yeah,
I've had this conversation with someone else before, and they said that I'm actually better than this guy, but he does better in races because he puts it all together better, and his transitions are smoother or something.
Yeah, and also like triathlon, like swimming is a very technical sport.
Yeah.
So technique's number one.
Mm-hmm.
There's no point being strong and you can't
Thrashing it out and you don't go anywhere.
Cycling is probably the only one where you can kind of bash things out, and because it's just pure power and there's not much. There's still technique to it, but there's not much of it.
Yeah.
And then running has some technique to it as well. So like, it's very you need to be able to do things efficiently before you learn how to do things fast. So like,
yeah, that's why I'll always say that learning how to swim as an adult is really difficult because you overthink it. You don't know how to put you put your hands in, then your technique is off, and you're totally too rigid coming out of the water, and you sort of
you need your technique. Like swimming is very technique based. If you can't get a technique right, there's no point of you swimming hard. Like, I think.
So is he, for us to use the Olympian as an example, right? Is his techniques a bit crisper than everyone else's, or what makes him the Olympian and the rest of the squad not Olympians?
It's more of the stuff he does when he's not training, I believe. Like, it's the small stuff like getting your nutrition right. I think his nutrition is very good. Let's say when he goes home and he sleeps early, being disciplined. Like, discipline is a very big thing. Like, it's the small things that really plays a part, because from training, like I train with him every session. Yeah. So I know exactly what he does.
Exactly, right?
So
even if you do exactly the same sessions as him, the outcomes are slightly different.
Oh, actually, outcomes are very different.
Yeah. Right.
Well, I'm like very different from he is. Like, he's like leading the world, and I'm very far back from that. Yeah. So it's really the small things that he does and
or doesn't do. Right. Like he's not scrolling Instagram at 12 o'clock at night, right?
Yeah.
For example.
Yeah, like he sleeps early and everything. And honestly, it's not just him. Like, even my other squad mates as well. Like, I've got other squad mates who would roll every night. Yeah. Or like do core exercises every time they finish training. Like, it's the discipline and the things they
do. They weigh their food?
Sorry?
Do they weigh their food? I know some people that...
Oh, wait. They extreme. Probably not.
A lot of people
weigh on a weighing scale.
Yeah, they weigh their food and then they'll take a picture of it so they remember what they ate. So then they can upload it into whatever food program that they have so they can count the calories.
No, I don't think they do that, but I might be wrong because I don't really say that. Yeah, they might be doing it. I don't know. Yeah.
It's a secret weapon.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I've trained with him and he does really a lot of similar stuff. Like, everybody in the squad does similar stuff. Mm-hmm. But then yet again, you see that there's like a standard distance. There's a standard, like, everyone's really very different when it comes to racing. So my whole squad for the boy side, there's only me and another Asian boy. Mm-hmm. He's Taiwanese. He does the same training as me as well. Yeah. One thing though, his swimming is very efficient. So like,
better than yours.
He's way better than mine. So he's a lot more efficient in the water. So he's much faster. But like, he's running and cycling the same, but yet he runs and rides faster than me. And sometimes it's
frustrating.
Sometimes it's also got to do with how long he's been training. So like, for me, I've only actually properly trained for the past 1 year, I would say. Yeah. Whereas he has already built up years of training.
Yeah, and he has that bangs already.
Yeah, so he has really clocked in the amounts. And for me, I'm like trained for 3 years and then NS 2 years and then now starting training again. So in a way,
your trajectory may be like this and he's already up here, right? So
in a way, I kind of like took a dip with NS and also you need consistent training. Like having a 2 year break doesn't really help.
That's what they say, much consistency trumps motivation every time, right?
Oh, yeah.
So at least you know what it takes to be an Olympian now that you're training with one, right?
Yeah.
So if you're doing it, you got that benchmark and the milestone already there, right?
you kind of know what standard you need to be at.
Mm-hmm.
I think even like for Southeast Asian level or even the Asian level, you can see where you need to be at. Like some of the younger Aussie kids are probably a top few in the Asian standard, and you can even compare from there. Like you can see where you should need to be. Like you get to really experience what training, being at the top level, how you need to train like to be at that level.
Yeah.
You know?
And even if you get to that level, you need to be able to stay at that level, right?
Yeah.
It's no use getting there one training session and then falling all the way back down again.
Yeah. So
like even in like, let's say use the Olympics for an example, right? They run the 10K at the end of the Olympics at sub 30 minutes.
29, 28, going to get almost...
Like Alex Yee will be doing it in 28 minutes or...
28.
Right? So if you're running 35s on a 10K, you can already tell the difference in standard, right?
You're not getting anywhere.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so what is your training load? So talk to Bryce, I've talked to Aaron Kears, I've talked to Cedric. They're all about 10, 15 hours a week. I've heard that you're way more than that.
Yeah, I think I probably train the most. Safe to say, like...
So let's just go in the past 6, so it's now July, right? So this year, average weekly training?
Close to 30, I would say.
30?
Close to 30.
So almost double.
Yeah, but I think...
So you're like a part-time, almost a full-time athlete and a part-time student nowadays.
You can probably say that. Like, I'm actually doing my studies part-time, so...
Yeah.
I'm training a full training load. Like, it's pretty full on.
I think the official designation for a full-time job is 32 hours or something like that. So you're...
Oh, is it? Yes, I didn't know that.
So
pretty much full-time.
Pretty much full-time.
Not making as much money as a full-time worker, but I'll get there. I'll get there some...
So 30 hours a week is a lot, right? Even if it's average of 7 days, 30 hours, right? So it's like 4 and a bit hours a day. Is that... How do you break that up? Is it mornings and afternoons? Is it?
So I sometimes even do 4 sessions a day.
Well, how do you do 4 sessions? Like you wake up, swim.
I have a double run, so it's probably a double run day. I'll run first in the morning and I'll swim, and then I'll go riding after the swim. So that's probably run, swim, bike probably takes me until like 1 p.m.
Mm-hmm. And
then rest a bit, go to the gym, and then rest a bit, go for another run.
So we're talking on the weekends, right? Or are we talking about
on a weekday?
So I guess you're a student, as long as you go to your classes, you can work that out, right? So then, and each of those sessions would have a purpose, correct?
Oh yeah, for sure, yeah.
Yeah.
But then again, also like, I think for my coach, we do a lot of aerobic.
Yep.
So we do a lot of aerobic days. Like I don't know when's the last time I did a hard run. Yeah, so I went to Spain the last 2 months, and I've only done 1 hard run session in the past 2 months.
So when you say, I'm just guessing here, right? So if your hard runs are 4 minutes a kilometer, is that roughly what your hard runs will be? 4:30?
Yeah, 3 minutes.
Okay, so 3 minutes. Let's just say your hard runs are 3 minutes. So then your training pace is what? 4.5?
It depends on the day, maybe 4.5, 5. Depends on how you feel the day, really.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So that is significantly slower than your hard runs, right? So 50%, almost 50% slower. I
sometimes still don't get, I don't understand how that works, because I've done 8 weeks of training in Spain, which is about 2 months.
Yeah.
I've only done all easy runs.
Mm-hmm.
I've only done 1 hard session in the whole 8 weeks. And
but your fitness has improved.
I somehow managed to drop 3 minutes off my 10K.
Yeah, it's crazy. So when you say you went to Spain for 8 weeks, did your whole squad, all your whole squad went. Everyone, your coach and all your team all went to Spain?
Everyone went, yeah.
So it wasn't just you grinding it out by yourself over there. It was like just a different location for all your...
Yeah, because in Australia it's winter, so we go to Spain, which is their summer, to go and train, so it's easier. And I think in Europe the roads there are better to ride on as well. Traffic is much better, the more hills. My bike really improved a lot as well.
So you just went to some country town and just...
Yeah, it's just some small town called Vitoria-Gasteiz. Like, it's not a very big place. the small town and just set up camp there and we just train there for the.
Oh, that's so cool. And you saw significant improvements in those 8 weeks.
Oh yeah, I have definitely. Like my swim by run across the board has improved a lot.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Is that something that you maintain now? Do you think, or you need to go back for another training camp and again to sort of get back those 3 minutes, for example?
I think.
So now that you're there, now you've got a faster run. Is your training just to maintain that new speed?
Oh no, to get faster.
Also,
I always want to get faster.
Yeah, cool.
I think I'll just get faster and faster. Like this, I don't want to stop. Like I don't think my training now is gonna make me just maintain it. I think my coach and I are still planning to try to get the time faster.
So you have it. So let's just say your potential is 100, and now you're at 85, for example, right? Your goal is just to keep chipping away.
Yeah. So
to get to that 100. Okay.
And I don't think I'm 85. I'm probably at 30 still.
Nice.
So
That's good.
I still feel like I got a long way to
That's
go.
scary.
Yeah.
So back to your training, right? You have 30 hours. So you do double days, you do or quadruple days, and then you just a lot of it is zone 2, zone 3.
I'll say mostly zone 2. There's a lot of easy stuff. Like we really don't do a lot of hard stuff, and I think the philosophy of the training is more of being able to do the technique right. So when I mentioned all about technique, so even run technique, like how your arm swings, how your shoulder relaxes, how you're
activating your core while you're running.
Yeah, exactly. So those kind of small things. And for swimming, it's even more important. Like you need to be able to swim proper strokes. Like I think my coach is a big advocate on swimming technique. And if you're not swimming right, like then why bother going fast? Like you're not fixing the things that can be fixed. Like being able to swim right is easier than being stronger. Like the technique is the most important thing. Like technique is gonna bring you far. Like being strong is still gonna get you so far.
And it's also something that if you correct early, you can build on much easier than trying to correct it later in life.
I've told my coach many times, I wish I would have corrected this when I was younger. Like because I was a swimmer since I was like 10, so I was like, if I had just done this earlier. But I'm kind of now paying the price of not listening to my coaches when I was younger.
Do you think that's what it was, or do you think that they actually said it and you didn't listen, or was it something that was just never?
I'm sure they've said, because my strokes have significant improvements to be made. Like I'm pretty sure any swim coach would have told me that.
Because sometimes as long as you're doing well, you can even at the Olympics, some people have crazy straight arm strokes and stuff like that. So as long as they're making the times and they're doing well, they just let them be.
Yeah, but then again, I think these people already have some talent, like power wise, or being able to strength wise, or
just anaerobic capacity or just
capacity
or something.
You can't really compare to other people, but the basis, no matter of what talent, technique is always going to bring you further. It's just that is facts.
Apples to apples, right? If you're the same base model and you got better technique and I've got a worse technique, you're going to go faster, right?
Yeah, it's and we are technique is just going to bring you further. It's 100% guarantee that it will bring you further, no matter what ability you are, no matter what talent you have. Technique is always going to bring you further. So even if you are super talented, technique will bring you even further.
And then if you take a long off, let's say you don't swim for a month, your technique is probably still going to be pretty close when you go back, but your endurance might suffer. It's easier to get your endurance back than to learn that technique all over again,
for
right?
sure. Like if your technique's right and you come back to the pool, you probably won't even feel difference other than the muscular endurance.
Yeah. So then 30 hours a week, right? You're training. What do you do for recovery? Do you have an ice bath? Do you have a sauna? Do you have boots?
Ice bath. I do a lot of ice bath. I have been trying to roll and stretch more. I think that's still a work in progress. But I have a lot of ice bath, massage, go physio. And that's, I think, training a lot, that's where the face-to-face contact with the coaches help a lot. Because they see you, they know, they get to see how you're swimming. They can see you swimming with fatigue and they know this guy's...
Yeah, that's what I'm going to ask you. So for an everyday athlete, if you go for a 10K run, for example, they might be sore the next day.
Yeah.
For you, if you go for a 10K run, would you be sore the next day as well? Or would you just... It'd take you a lot more than that to really get... What would make you really sore? 20, 30K run?
That's a good question. I don't know. I've never really felt that sore.
Because if you're doing it every day or a few times a day, you can't afford to be so you need to recover fast and get back in the game.
I think that's why you also kind of train, like that's why I kind of train so much to kind of like, because once I left NS, I slowly built it up. So I just need more strength. Like I slowly had more strength to be able to do more training.
Yep.
And I think everything really complements each other in my training as well. Like when I go to the gym, sometimes it's not really to get stronger. It's also more of to be able to condition my body. Like let's say I'm running a 50K run a week. Going to the gym to strengthen my body to run a 60K run. So sometimes it's
injury prevention as well, right? Training.
Exactly. Yeah. So sometimes the session itself might be a session to help another session. It might not be just solely focused on that session itself. So there's different purposes to training in. Yeah, I think. But most of the time, I kind of let my coach do that job because my coach.
So most of your training sessions have a target and a purpose, and there's no real junk miles just going out there having a coffee rides, right? Okay, and then nutrition wise, right? Because there's some people that I'm training so much, I'm gonna burn the calories anyway. I'll just eat any old junk, pizza, burritos, hamburgers, whatever. Do you watch what you eat? Are you like healthy sort of?
I think I do watch what I eat for sure. I used to not do it, but ever since I moved to Australia, I think it's been a big thing for me because I realized that I'm not eating well enough. I'm not eating enough even. So then I think even the culture in the squad helps a lot because the people in my squad or our coaches emphasize a lot of nutrition. Like you would need to, for every training session you rock up to, you need to have a nutrition during that session. So you eat before, during, and after. Every single session, no matter how short, how long, you need to have nutrition. So even if it's a 1 hour swim, you need to have something to eat because you're not just fueling for that session, you're fueling for after that session.
It's not like you're doing it for weight loss or anything. You're not trying to burn fat calories, or you're trying to get the most out of the session that you're doing, right?
Yeah, and I feel like if you're training 15 and 20 hours a week, there's a 90% chance you're not feeling enough. Like especially for Singaporean athletes, like especially in this weather when it's so hot, like you're definitely not feeling enough. You need to always be eating. If not, you'll be getting fatigued very easily. You won't be able to recover you won't recover fast enough. And to be able to train at 30 hours, I think eating is the nutrition part.
What is a typical, when you're in Australia, what's a typical meal? Are you eating like high carbs, eating a lot of meat, or are you eating salads all the time, or what are you?
Good question. I feel like I eat a lot of same thing. Like I eat a lot of pasta. I eat a lot of steak. I eat a shit ton of steak. Like it's my diet. My steak consumption is quite scary.
At least it's not as expensive as steak over here.
I think the price is probably about the same.
But do you eat organic, or are you just like whatever's in Woolworths and Coles?
I just get what Woolworths and Coles. I feel like that's probably the easiest source for me. I'm not good. I think that's good enough. Like my opinion is just that's good enough. I would have about 4 steaks a week. I think it's about that, which is I think is a lot. That's quite a lot. I have a lot of pasta, a lot of salads as well. Burgers.
How are things like recovery shakes? Are you having protein?
Protein shakes.
Protein shakes
twice a day.
So a lot of people say that as soon like you see at the Tour de France, they do a 5-hour stage. As soon as they finish, they've got some sort of recovery shake.
Yeah, you have to 20 minutes after. You need
to sort of fuel so you don't break down, right?
Yeah. So, my other coach, Warwick, he used to get on. Actually, no, both Matt and Warwick gets on to me about my nutrition a lot. Like when I first moved there, I used to not have anything after or even during. So they'll just tell me off, and even Luke tells me off as well. Like he would tell me like where's your food? Like you need your food. Like,
it's almost like peer pressure in the good direction.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and that's where I really got a shock. Like because even when I was training in Singapore, like I would just go on a long ride with just 2 bottles and it's fine.
Yeah.
Here is like
some people go out on long rides with 2 bottles of water and say, "Oh, I'm just going to burn my fat," right? And try to do that.
Yeah, but that's not the way to go. Like, when you're in high performance sport, you're striving for excellence. Like that's what you want to be. You want to be at the tip top shape every single session. You need to be at that concentrating every single session, because every single session matters. Like even if it's an easy run, that matters well. Doing your drills before your easy runs, doing your recovery after your easy runs or easy stuff. Like it might even be like a 20-minute session, but
it just make those 20 minutes work, make the most of those 20 minutes, right?
Yeah, and every session is a gold medal session. You need to think about it that way. Like every session is as important as like the hard session is as important as the recovery session.
What do they say? They say if everyone else is doing the same thing, you need to find something else to differentiate yourself, right?
Yeah,
because if you're all doing the same sessions, you need to get better nutrition or whatever.
And I think that's the difference between me and my other squadmates. Like I think the stuff we do different is probably outside training rather than during training.
Yeah, because you're all got the same set, right?
Everyone's doing the same thing.
You're doing the same distance, you're doing the same intervals, you're doing everything similar, right?
And it's not like the coaches don't know what they're doing. Like the coaches have done this before. Like the coaches know what they're doing. Everyone's doing the same thing. If you're not doing well and someone's doing well, it's definitely something you're doing wrongly, because everyone's doing the same thing.
Yeah. Or they're resting better, or they're recovering better, or they're eating better or something. So then all these 30 hours, are you indoors with Zwift grinding it out on treadmill in a trainer, or are you out in the great outdoors?
No indoors at all. I do everything outdoors.
So it's raining. What if it's raining? Do you
breathe the read?
Suck it
Actually, no. If it's raining, we'll do it indoors. But most of the time, I would wait for the rain to stop.
Okay.
I'd rather wait for the rain to stop than ride indoors. Like that's just my preference. Like
yeah, me too. Actually.
Yeah.
I hate running on a treadmill, and I don't ever ride on the treadmill.
Running on a treadmill, I think I've never ran on treadmill much. Like the only thing I'll do indoors is cycling. That's the only indoor I'll do. And cycling, most of the time I'll just wait for the rain. I'd rather wait for the rain I'd rather ride on wet roads than ride indoors.
At least you're in Brisbane, right? Brisbane is 3/4 of the year it's sunny. And then you maybe get a couple of months of gloomy, rainy weather. But if you're in Melbourne, 3/4 of the year is gloomy and rainy. And
I've never been in Melbourne much, but I'm thankful I'm in Brisbane and the weather's pretty good there. So
And then, so favorite distance, you haven't done any long course, right? 70.3s yet?
No, it's just short course. For super sprint, and standard. I've already said my favorite sport is sprint. I think that's just because what I've been doing for like the past few years. Like I'm slowly stepping up to standard distance.
Okay, so SEA Games 2025, is it going to be standard or sprint?
Sprint. It's going to be sprint.
Okay, so you can still concentrate on sprint for the next year or so, and you'll be fine. There's no pressure to move up.
Yeah, I think also like doing standard distance well is also very important, because like Asian Games is standard, Olympics is standard. A lot of games actually sprint.
ITUs are probably all standard, right?
It's half and half.
Okay.
Yeah. The World Triathlon series is all standard.
Yeah.
But I think the sprint races makes it more interesting. So like a lot of countries are having more sprint races to make things more spectator friendly.
Yeah, and it's bim bam boom done in an hour, right?
Yeah. So it's quick, fast.
And then next up is you need to qualify for SEA Games, right?
Yeah.
What is involved? What do you need to do? So if I want to qualify for SEA Games and I'm against you, what are the milestones that need to be reached to get onto the team?
So you gotta be able to hit the bronze medal time for the previous SEA Games.
Okay.
Which I believe it's 59 minutes, which is not very hard. It's very doable.
Or if it was a hilly course on the last SEA Games, or it was hot and wet,
it was hot.
It's gonna be more slower than if it was a flat course.
Like that day when we did a SEA Games for triathlon, it was like 40 degrees. There were people pushing out, and then the water was like a sauna. It was so hot. Like the day was really very hot.
Also, the water you swam in was a sauna, not the water you drank at the drink stations.
Everything was hot. Everything was hot. Even like we finished the race, they're giving us water to drink. I'm like, no, I don't want that water. Like it's too
hot. Sitting there for too long, right?
Yeah. So you gotta hit that bronze medal time first, and then you gotta be top 2 in Singapore.
So if you don't, let's just say no one makes the time, that means that Singapore wouldn't send a team.
Pretty much, yeah.
Oh wow!
Like
it's kind of crazy, right? Because you're not guaranteed a bronze medal by making the bronze medal time, but they're kind of asking you to do that, right?
Yes, but then also it then depends on how the association pitch to the Olympic Council, because at the end of the day, when we do selection, Triathlon Singapore has their own policy. Yep. So with their policy, they come up with the names.
Yep.
And then they bring it to the Olympic committee, and then
Yeah.
if there's no one to place, they will still justify people because there's definitely someone who's competitive.
You've got to show something, right? Yeah, I've heard the same for cycling. The federation or whatever it is it's almost like they put up suggestions on who they think should be on the team, and the final call is the Olympic committee, right, to choose who's on the team, right?
Yeah.
So
similar process.
So it's not like a big one winner takes all race where the top 2 people qualify will definitely go to the SEA Games, because like the Olympic trials in the cycling for in America, they had one race, and the time trial, top 2 people would go to the Olympics. And Taylor Knibb, who was a triathlete, went in and she came second, and now she's going to the Olympics for the time trial.
So she won that race.
Oh, she won it. Okay, so she's going to the Olympics for the time trial when she's a triathlete, because it's a winner take all race. Is it going to be like that for Singapore?
I think it depends. I actually forgot how I qualified the last few SEA Games, honestly.
It's done over. You bank the memories and you move on.
I think most of the time it's not just one race. Like, so they collect data points.
Yeah.
They have different. So you need to be racing a few times. You can't be just racing once and that's it.
So this is a question I asked Shane Bannon from cycling a few weeks ago. Is if you're a crazy kid in Canada who happens to be Singaporean, who does very well in triathlon, can they get on the SEA Games team by time only? Is that possible?
It's possible. I think it's possible because what you got to do is you got to race, I think 3 or 4 times, and then you need to show a few results. So it's not a one-time race. I feel like last time they did SEA Games qualification as a one-time race, but now it's not. So you need to be racing. So let's say
and the races have to be sanctioned or something.
Yeah, it needs to be sanctioned by the triathlon organization of like that country. So let's say he does a race in Canada and sanctioned by the Canadian Triathlon. Then
the distance are measured exactly, so you know the time.
Yeah, exactly. Right? Yeah, so you probably need to prove yourself by racing. You need to be fast. So if you choose the fast courses, then you probably have more of advantage. But then also, I think in Singapore you kind of know where you kind of stand.
Yeah.
So it's like you kind of know where you sit within Singapore, and it's top 2, right? Yeah. So obviously there's not many people going, and you know where the top guys are in our country.
So you probably know the top 5 triathletes, right? So it's going to be 2 out of those top 5.
Yeah, exactly. It's probably that few, and I think like me and Bryce have just gone to so many together, so it's like usually me and Bryce will be the one to be targeting, and people just look for us and what we're doing. Yeah. So, but then for me, I've came to a point where I just want to do my best, and if I don't get selected, then it's fine. But like,
well, we've been to 3 already, right? So
no, I want to go more.
Of course,
I had this goal of going 10 SEA Games actually.
Wow, that's 20 years.
Yeah. So 20 years, 2039. So I'll be 37, 38. Which is possible because Willie and Clement went to SEA Games when they were 37 as well.
Okay.
So I'm telling myself 10 SEA Games. I can do it. Yeah.
Well, you're 3 down. If you get this next one before, you're already almost halfway there. So then SEA Games 2025. I hear that you got a big goal for Olympics as well, right?
Yeah.
LA, which is another 4 years after that. So let's just say you go to SEA Games, you get a gold medal. Does that count at all to Olympics? Or is it completely different?
Totally different. So it has no relation to Olympics at all.
Okay. So you're back to the drawing board. You're back.
Yeah. The only thing that helps me is probably financially.
Yeah. So you probably just pick up some sponsors and you'll get a
good sponsors and then
bonus for the gold medal, right? But so how do you qualify for the Olympics? Because I don't think anyone from Singapore has ever gone to Olympics for triathlon before, right?
Yeah. No one in Southeast Asia has even gone to Olympics for triathlon.
Oh wow. So Southeast Asia being Vietnam, Thailand, Indonesia, Philippines. Okay. So what are you going to need to do to get to the Olympics?
You need to be top 50 in the world in your Olympic bull ranking.
Okay.
So top 50 is the benchmark.
So you need to be in the Olympic distance, which is 1500 swim, 40k, and a 10k, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Yeah. The Olympic distance, you need to be in the top 50 in the world.
Yes, but then also you got a lot of... So Olympics can only send 3 guys maximum.
Or each country?
Yes, so
if there's 10 Aussies in the top 50.
Yeah, so it rolls down.
So it will just roll down.
So the past two Olympics, stats-wise, it's always been, you don't really have to be top 50, top 80, top 70.
Because there are some countries that have
like
stacked.
the British boys are always like 5 or 6 of them. The Australians, you have a few of them in there.
New Zealand as well, probably.
Yeah, exactly. So you kind of roll down.
And then how many are actually in the race?
55.
So it's actually a race of 55 people.
Yeah, 55. Because
Olympics Day.
Yeah, because the top 50, and then you got 5 more from like wildcard slots, or what we call new flag slots.
Yep.
I believe it's 5. Yeah, and so
Host country doesn't make a difference or anything like that?
I think host country gets 1 extra.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. So I think to get to the Olympics, to be able to get that top 70, top 80 in the world, you need to be consistently finishing at top 30, top 25 in World Cups.
So how do you get ranked in the top 100, for example, in the world? Is it by World Cup ITU races?
Yeah, so World Triathlon point. You need World Triathlon points.
Okay. So what sort of races have World Triathlon points attached to them?
So any World Triathlon races you do have World Triathlon points attached to them. Okay. But Olympic ranking points, you need to be doing certain standard level of racing. So like World Cup racing will give you Olympic points.
Okay.
Continental Cups will not give you any Olympic points.
Because the level of competition is not necessarily high enough, right?
Yeah, it's not there. So your continental championships, like Asian champs, will get you Olympic points.
Okay.
World Cup racing gets you Olympic points. World Triathlon Series races get you Olympic points.
So that's got to involve a lot of traveling for you to go to all these different places to try to get the best results at each of these races.
Yeah, and I think that brings me back to winning SEA Games, because with traveling, there's a lot of money to it.
Yeah.
And being able to win a SEA Games is a good step up to get to that financial, like to be able to be financially able to go to these type of things.
Yeah, of course.
So,
or even a sponsor that facilitates it, right? Let's just say Singapore Airlines chooses to sponsor you. Maybe they give you...
There'll be a dream come true.
Right? You know what I mean? They might give you like business class tickets every race you want to go to, something like that, right? And then that takes a big load off you. Load off your weight.
Yeah.
Or Wheelie might sponsor you bikes, and then you don't have to pay for bikes anymore, right? Something like that.
So I think to be able to travel to these races, you need to be able to train at a high load and be able to race as well.
Mm-hmm.
And
because currently you're training at a high load, but the actual number of races that you're doing isn't a lot, right?
It's getting there, but it's not a lot as what I think I need to be doing.
Yeah.
So like the Olympic qualification is over 2 years.
Okay.
And that's the period where everybody will be scrambling to be racing a lot, because the more races you do, the more chances you have to do doing well, and the more chances of you doing well means more points.
Yeah. Because triathlon is not a given that you show up to racing, you're going to get a top 5 slot, right? So many things can happen on the day, and you have mechanicals, you can have a cramp, you can have a bad swim, get kicked in the face, you get goggles. So it's the volume of races definitely would help to
to increase your chance of getting more points and then being able to qualify.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then I guess there's a 2-year qualification. The 2 years prior to the Olympics is the 2-year window. Is that how it works?
Yes, 2 years before the Olympics.
So the Olympics is in 10 days, right? So 2022 until 2021, 23 or whatever it was is when everyone was trying to qualify for
It
this
would have
Olympics.
been end of probably end of 21 or end of 22, I think.
Yeah.
End of 22, that the qualification window probably opened, and then everyone's going to be just scrambling to be racing and getting points. And so I think for me, my progression would be being able to get to that standard 2 years before the Olympic qualification, and that 2 years.
And executing for those 2 years.
Yeah, it's really about execution.
Yeah, and then so let's just say you land and you find yourself at 60th in those in those points, for example, right?
You're pretty much guaranteed a spot.
All it would just be the Singapore National Olympic Committee putting up your name.
Yeah, it's probably just them.
And then putting your resume together, this is where you'll get your points, this is how many points you have.
Yeah.
And then...
They have a website for the ranking, so you can see where you stand.
Okay.
Yeah, so you kind of know whether you get it or not. Well, so the process is probably you need to hit the standard first, and then World Triathlon would then offer you a spot at the Olympics, and then
is that okay?
And then Singapore site would
ratify it.
No,
yeah. Okay.
Well, I hope most of the time they'll say yes.
I hope so.
Yeah. If they say no after going through all that, that'll be quite painful, you know.
It would break your heart.
Yeah, like you spend so many years trying to get there and you just don't get there because
For some random reason.
yeah, so
A quarter of athletes is up or something. Okay, and so then what else? So what else you got planned? You're graduating end of this year. You'll hang around in Australia for a few months after that. Can I come back to Singapore and just train your ass off?
yeah, that's pretty much the plan. I think I'm gonna try and look forward to train full time. Means I don't want to find a job, but then
At least not a job at a corporation where you're going to clock 40 hours.
yeah, no, it's probably gonna be a remote job. I think I need somewhere where I can work from home, probably.
Or flexible hours or something where
Somewhere where I don't have to go to the office because I need to train in.
Yeah.
Like training 30 hours a week. You're not gonna. I don't know any company will actually hire you if you're training 30 hours a week. Like
you're always going to be tired at work and
yeah, you're not putting in the work you're supposed to do. Like why
you're at the pool at lunchtime.
So I don't know, man. I think I'm gonna take it day by day.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't really know exactly what I'm going to be doing.
Yeah.
I've got a few side hustles that I'm working on that I'm earning some cash on. So if I can
amplify those a little bit and make them run by themselves a little bit more.
Yeah, and I probably seek for more sponsorship. I think that's kind of like the issue for Singaporeans because especially for Singapore males when you're NS, they kind of just dig in your sports. And then the problem is that you don't, like, who's going to fund you? Like,
well, the problem is, even if let's just say you're at this level when you get to NS, and even if you maintain, right, and the trajectory is here, by the time you come out of NS, everyone else has kept on that trajectory up. You've maintained, and suddenly you're looking up, and everyone else is sort of higher than you. Right?
Yeah, that 2 years, everyone's just improving. Like, the world is constantly...
And it's not like you're middle age, 40 to 42. You're actually in the prime of your life doing your NS, right? 20 years old, like that.
I think for a prime of triathlon is a bit longer.
Yeah.
I think we kind of peak when I'm 20 late 20s. But then also that 2 years...
Just like your 7th SEA Games by then.
Yeah. Just weekly 50.
Okay, it's your SEA Games.
Yeah. So I've still got a bit more SEA Games to go.
Okay.
But yeah, I think... And it just sets you back quite a bit. And also being able to find people to sponsor you to go and...
Yeah, because
like,
a lot of times, let's just say you're a sponsor, it might mean free merchandise, right? Or it might mean or help you pay for races. But food, lodging, everyday life, you need the money to...
You need to save. Like, you need some backup plan, you know?
Yeah,
like,
you can't live off free shoes, right? So
exactly, yeah. I wish I could, but I can't, you know?
And it's not as if you can take the shoes and sell them off, so it's like...
Yeah. So I think that's kind of really where the problem with us lies. It's more of the financial burden. And as a Singaporean as well, like, Singapore is always like... we are always in that cycle of being able to make enough money, be able to survive.
Yeah.
Like, Singaporeans are always very forward thinking.
Yep.
And I think we get all the peer pressure from our friends who are going to work. Like, for me, I've probably got my uni friends
For bankers right now, right?
Yeah, they're like they're graduating soon and then they're going to be having like high paying jobs and I'm still probably earning like minimum wage. Like, then you look around, you be like, shit, like, I'm just far behind. And then I think I don't even know a lot of professional athletes in Singapore.
Well, true professionals is that you can make a living off your sport.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
And how many true professionals are there? Table tennis, swimming, maybe?
Table tennis, swimming, badminton, silat, really. I think
Silat,
wushu has a few.
Okay.
But it's
But
not
that probably includes having a wushu school somewhere and running that, right? They're not...
probably...
Yeah, it's not like...
I think the only one that really allows you to go full-time is the SPECS program that Singapore has.
Yeah.
So I think SPECS program is really good. If you get on that, you probably can do it full-time.
Yeah.
But if you're not on
But
that...
that's only a limited... They're not going to do that forever, right? You can't have 10 years worth of specs. So.
Yeah, you can't. Like, you probably get it until your mid-30s and that's probably when they said, like, all right, I'm going to invest in a younger kid.
Yeah.
And
cares you to be the 8 SEA Games already?
yeah, like 10 SEA Games, so what? Like, I've got a new kid who's probably slightly slower and can have a longer run, but I'm going to invest in him.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just, so I think coming out next year, I just want to see where I can be at financially. I want to see how much I can earn and how much I can support myself.
And sometimes, like, Singapore doesn't really have a financial model for athletes, right?
No.
You might have to make one, right? Make a model and try it, see if it works, and then maybe it'll be the test model for everyone else, because it'll be a bit of a trailblazer, right?
I think our generation is going to be the one doing it. Our generation is really the one who's going to be creating that model for the future athletes to follow, because as of now, I see a lot more high performance athletes getting paid jobs, or like they're finding more monetary sponsorship, which is good. Like, that's kind of the way we should be going to.
Yeah. And like every other sport, right? Like, let's just use cricket in Australia, for example, right? All they do is focus on cricket. They get paid to play cricket. They've got sponsors. They can sell carpet ads on the side, but they're paid to do that. So they don't have to worry about anything else. They don't have to worry about doing an accounting job for 20 hours or 30 hours during the day.
I think our generation is kind of just paving the way for that, and I will want to be a part of that pioneer generation to help the younger athletes be able to be financially stable if they want sport as their full-time profession. Like,
well, it's something that they can aspire to. Like, Luke's done it. He's done it before. I don't have to go to university and do this thing that I don't want to do instead of doing that, right? So
I don't want to, like, I think we should be able to make sports as a viable option for a professional job. Like, currently in Singapore, no one's doing that as a job. And I think in other countries, they really see sport as a job, where in Singapore, it's kind of looked down.
Yeah.
Like, no one really see you doing sports as like this big thing. Like,
and there's no kids that are aspiring to be sports people as a profession, right? Like Ronaldo, he's like probably one of the highest paid people in the world to play sports.
I think even if people are doing sports when they're young, their parents probably just want them to do it to get a DSA or like get into a good school, So I think it'll be nice to see a lot more younger kids come out and want to do sports as a profession. I think triathlon in Singapore has grown a lot. I would say it really started off with Bryce. Bryce was really the one who really
took it to the next level, right?
He did,
Because he's been consistent for a long time now.
He started triathlon, I don't know, probably when he was like 12 or 13, I think, So, I mean, I started as a swimmer. I went to sports school. I saw this dude who could run and ride, and I thought that was freaking cool. So, and that guy was Bryce, and then I was like, I'm going to try to do that as well. Like, I think I can do that. And I remember, like, I think I was swimming with him, and I was like, he didn't swim very fast. I was like, I can do that. Like,
Nice.
Come on, Luke, you can do that as well. So I decided to give it a try. And I actually looked up to Bryce for a long time. And it's quite cool that I'm actually training for him now. Like, So
okay, man. So how do people get a hold of you? It's Luke.Chua, right?
Yeah.
So
Luke Chua with an extra A.
With an extra A at the back. On Instagram, and just DM you. Best way to get a hold of you.
Any questions, I'll be happy to answer any of them. And also like, I think
training tips and
training tips, how to get through NS, how to do a triathlon maybe. Anything. I'm happy.
Okay, man. Thanks a lot for your time. Thanks for coming in. We'll catch up again. Okay.
Yeah.